Hey everybody, sorry for the clickbait title. I don't know if you know it, but there is a new replacement in town for DRL Simulator. Not really, but if you happen to have Grand Theft Auto 5, somebody was nice enough to put out an FPV simulator that actually works really well. I'd actually call it close enough to DRL. Probably a little bit better than DRL, just doesn't have the settings as a file or as a in-game settings that you would set, but it does allow you the option to change over and do what you need to do. This is going to just show through a quick tutorial on the easiest way to set it up and the way I set it, so that there were a few settings that were a little weird, and it takes a second to get used to, but it does fly almost exactly like DRL, so if you're used to DRL, that would be where we are. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so first off, this is assuming you're using the smartpropo Plus and a transmitter, one of the real RC transmitters with the cable that plugs into the audio jack, and that will allow you to use to basically fly it like a simulator. This mod, however, just requires some type of analog joystick, like your standard Xbox joystick, or will pick up vjoy from your smartpropo Plus, however you want to say this program name. But I'm assuming that everyone watching this will be using the smartprop and real transmitter. That's your first assumption. Now you're going to head over to the GTA 5 mods and go for Quadcopter 1.2. All links will be in the description down below for everything that's mentioning here to download. You're just going to download this for now, along with several other programs. Next up, you're going to head over for Script Hook 5 and Native Trainer. If you don't read whatever language that is, just click on the little circle button. Now head over and download the Xbox 360 controller emulator. I used the one for the 64-bit since I believe that's what GTA 5 is. The good part's if you download the wrong one, it'll tell you when you download the right one. So now extract everything. Basically I open using 7-zip and just drag all of the internal files from the zips over into the root directory of Grand Theft Auto 5. There is one folder that you'll drop in, and then several files: the Xbox 360, the script hooks, and the ASI file for the actual mod. From here you're going to run the X360 CE program that you just dropped over. It's going to open up, tell you it needs to create an INI file. If you want to download it, that's fine. The main points in here are to configure your A and I believe that's A and B buttons as axis 5 and 6. The reason I used those is they were the only thing transmitting from my smartpropo Plus program. You want to set those up. You just click on the little down arrow, hit record, and flip a switch on your transmitter, and then do the same thing for the other button, X, A, and B. Once you've set that, you go to the it's stick axis Y and X. Do the same thing. You can set it up for mode 1 or 2, but essentially you just want to click the down arrow beside, and it'll drop down. You hit record, and then you move your axis to whichever way you want. So it's X axis right and left, and Y axis up and down. And this is the way I have it set for mode. I'm a mode 2 flyer. And essentially those are the only ones you will need on your actual transmitter. So once you have this set, you just hit save, and it will save your settings. Now this is actually the main reason I wanted to make this video. Whenever I used the default settings, the program was basically unflyable with my controller until I set my dead zone and my anti-dead zone in this little tab in the X360 CE. You want to set it so that your dead zone is where the little dot will fall, and then your anti-dead zone will make it so whenever you move out of the dot, it will feel more realistic. I initially had my dead zone set up just without the anti-dead zone, and it felt horrible. So this is the setting I'm using that feels great. Not quite as responsive as real life, but very, 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 very close. This is for my left thumb, and this is for my right thumb. You'll notice there's a Y vertical axis dead space as well, and this is mostly because when you use that PPM to an audio port using smartpropo Plus, they never center, and there's no reliable way to center the sticks. You know, in DRL, when you set up a controller, you can pretty much set your dead space and set your center and everything. Since there is no way to do it, this is the best way I've found using the 360 controller emulator. Make sure you set your dead zone and your anti-dead zone, or it's going to feel awful. In this case, I actually didn't set my anti-dead zone correctly, and that actually, until this video, I was wondering why it felt weird. And this is why. I need to set my anti-dead zone in this case. Otherwise, you'll notice I can't quite get my Y. Oh, that explains it. I can't do power loops very easily with this setup. However, when I go back, I'm going to reset my anti-dead zone for my Y vertical axis, because right now when I pull back on the stick or push forward, it feels really weird and then jumps over to where it just feels weird, and it makes it so it's very hard to pull up out of loops, which you'll see in the demo video in a second. This actually, making this video explains why I was having a little bit more trouble. I thought maybe my controller was doing some weird stuff, but now I see why, and I can go back and fix that. And this is just from smartpropo Plus. My 5 and 6 were the only two that translated over to the X360 controller, and the rest of them translated well, but just 5 and 6. 7 and 8 never went. So 1, 2, 3, 4 were my up and down, left and right, and 5 and 6 were 2 switches on the right. I believe they're the default if you use the X220 setup. You'll know what I'm talking about. And finally, I just wanted to go over a few things in the INI file that were really cool. These things are very helpful to me. First off, you can set your D1 tilt. It's default to 30. You can set it to 45 if you like flying a little faster, or you can set it to your real one. You can change your FOV. I believe default's 90, and that's just where I left it. I'm not sure for D3, C1, whatever. I think if you change your modes, you can change the third person view or keep it in first. 0 is your first person view. When you go down, your RC rate, that's 1.5 and 1.5, those are default, but my rate P, rate whatever next, rate R, rate Y, or rate X, rate Y, whatever those are, those were 0.8s all the way down. I changed them to 0.5 because that just seemed to feel better. You can play around with that number and make it more or less responsive. When you go down to drone, 3D fly means you can actually do 3D flight where down will push you down and up will push you up. If you've ever tried 3D flight, it's difficult, but your throttle 0 is in the center of the stick, and up will make you go up and down will push you in the ground, or if you're upside down it makes you fly. So you can do some crazy upside down stuff. Acro true, I believe they put in a self-leveling, so if you set that default, it will self-level. Your mass, now this one's fun because it starts off at 0.8 is your default, and I'm assuming that's 800 grams, but I moved mine up to make it heavier because I set my max velocity at 360. That makes this quad very fast, and it's default to 40 with a 0.8 mass, and that is not bad. It's great if you're flying in the buildings, but I was wanting to fly more around the buildings and across the entire map in a hurry. But if you set it to 360, you can set it however high as you want, but it will fly like a demon at some point. The rest of these, I never changed the PIDs, the trail sticks, yada yada. I didn't change many of these, but they are fun to play around with. I just set them back to default. essentially, if you want to be faster, that drone area with the mass and the velocity, that's where you will make most of your changes. And if you want more responsive, the control area, that's where you make most of your changes for responsiveness. And you'll save. So from here, just start your game up and walk outside using the analog sticks, and you're going to hit, in my case it was tab, but whatever button brings up the wheel, you just hit that button. And in the upper left corner where it says start helicopter fight, in my case it says hit the enter key, so I do that. It will go black, and voila, you're in FPV mode. Starts off with an analog camera that will change to digital slowly, and you can fly around using your sticks. You even get a cool stick cam, and when you bang into stuff it will turn kind of gray and shadowy back to the analog view. But for right now you're in default HD beauty, flying with an RC transmitter. And this actually has my faster settings on it, but I have a few more videos, or a few more flight demos that are not quite flying as fast. And that's all. Just enjoy the flight, and if you have any questions, please drop a comment down below. As always, hit like if this has helped you, and comments always appreciated. I try to answer anything as fast as I get it, and yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, enjoy the flight, and I hope y'all have a wonderful one. Y'all stay freaking awesome, and we'll catch you on the next time. Just keep watching. Thanks.